so excited to discuss the launch of your first Beaufort Blake store. Let's start with the exciting news. Your brand's moved from online to physical. Was there anything in particular that prompted the decision to open your first store?
Well, firstly, thanks very much for having me and chatting today, Irene. It's a real pleasure to continue talking to you, as it has been running the project through with you guys at Caulder Moore from start to finish. Really, it's been a really fantastic experience, and as I say, the professional standards that you guys have upheld from start to finish is almost finished, I should say, nearly there, has been second to none. So really grateful for your support. As for the decisions for us to sort of jump into physical retail, as you say. I mean, there's a bit of a backstory there. I recently bought the business back from investors that we've been working with for about 5 years, and I had actually become disillusioned with the strategy and the direction that they had led us under, and that was a very sterile approach to marketing. It was here are the numbers that we're going to spend on marketing every month, and this is the channels that we're going to do them, and do all the numbers add up on Excel? And if they don't add up on Excel, then we're not doing it. Everything was run by numbers, and there was no real touch and feel or gut instinct in any of it. And as a founder of this business, one of the things that I believe is in that touch and the feel and the interaction with customers. That you sometimes, of course, you need to run your business with numbers, but you've got to have a sense of how you can connect with your customers as well. And one of the essential key tools that I believe in building a brand is enabling your fans and your customers to interact with you physically, so that they can strengthen their emotional connection to the brand. It's a bit of an inspiration that I drew from authors who come to bookstores and do book signings. You don't just read their books. Well, we all read their books all the time, and that's the you become a fan of an author by reading their print. But some people, the real fans, and often those super interested in the author will go to the book signers. All the authors will go into different bookstores up and down the country and go and sign people's books. And I feel this is a sort of similar way of us going into retail. We want to be able to interact with our customers and them to immerse themselves in the experience of the brand, not just from their computer screens or a catalogue that we send them each year. And so that's what this store will allow us to do. So when I took back control of the business in June of this year, searching for a store was almost top of my priority list, really.
So it's almost like that kind of meet the makers idea, isn't it, really? Which
exactly
I think is incredibly powerful in building a brand community. Any particular challenges that stood out during what is actually obviously kind of quite a big transition from online into physical?
The greatest lesson learned, I should say, is the time that it takes to run these projects. And in your this being our first flagship store and our first venture into retail, things take a lot longer when you're doing them physically than they do on a website. We run our business on from a computer nowadays, and well, the entirety of the business at the moment is run in the cloud, and it takes 3 seconds for us to change something if we want to, whereas you can't do that in a physical store.
So Ed, Beaufort Blake has such a distinctive brand identity. That whole thing about it having a very effortless, timeless style with your nod to simple pleasures. How did you approach transitioning that very distinctive essence into a physical space for your customers?
I think one of the key directives that we work with there, and actually we were led into with the Caulder Moore team, was still enabling our visitors to the store to be immersed in the imagery that they experience in their interaction online. And we're a very, being a digital only brand at the moment, we are very image led and video led. And in the store environment, in this new store environment, there are a series of spaces that have been created for us to display very large scale A0 images along the walls on both floors of the store, which really allow the images to be the forefront of what the brand is about. And really for us, our photography and portraying the sense of our timeless British heritage really comes through in the photo shoots that we lead, whether that be a weekend away in the countryside or a weekend on the coast.
I mean, you've sort of touched on it already, Ed, but for us, it's always a very collaborative journey when we bring a brand into physical retail for the first time. From your perspective, what was it like working with us and at Caulder Moore to bring that vision that you had to life?
Well, I certainly the Caulder Moore attention to detail, and actually I describe it as their desire to get under the blanket of the brand, as well as this a deep dive into our history, was fascinating and very engaging, really, and that led for them to be the natural choice in the design agency selection process. That level of understanding of identity really was very, very impressive. And so the lengths that have been gone to research the ethos and the essence of the brand were just made it an excellent partnership, really. I think being fluent in both brand language and store design has earned tremendous trust from our side, and it's really nice to be working with a partner who we can have that level of trust in. Critical when we're making such an investment like this into an entirely new channel that we've never done before, and secondly that it's one that we intend to roll out more strategically in the long term too. So here's to a fruitful and rewarding long-term partnership, really.